What's up, party people? Welcome back to another video here. So we're gonna be doing something a little different here. We're gonna be doing a reaction type video to a recent video that Skillcat put out that I thought was so good, and it just did not get the comments and stuff, and like the feedback on it were just not there. And I think there were such great points that I try to kind of cover myself all the time. So I want to talk about these, give you my live reaction on it, and let's see how it goes.
For the past 2 decades, there have been countless players.
I think these things are so important for you to prove as a player.
Showing his incredible warrior tricks, or Wreckful demonstrating.
Wish more people would pay attention to these things.
All have something to teach us about what it means to play PvP. And now in WoW's 20th anniversary, the game is more competitive than ever before. Today, we're going to take a step back from the past to look into the present, and at the 5 players who are defining the future of the game we love. And through them, we will learn 5 different ways to play WoW PvP. Let's start with the concept of playing for pressure. In the words of Chanimal, who has won BlizzCon and multiple AWC championships, there are some rank 1 players who I am not afraid of. And then there is Peekaboo. What Peekaboo can teach us about PvP is the value of being aggressive and unpredictable. You've probably heard a million times that WoW is a scripted game.
Yeah.
Every arena follows a familiar path that you can trace on a graph. And at a certain point, you begin to notice a lot of patterns. You know when someone is going to pop cooldowns, when they're going to use their trinket, who they'll attack, and so on. 99% of players are following the same path. Peekaboo is part of the 1% who doesn't, because he understands one basic principle. If you exert enough pressure, you will break the script. Pressure is
good old selfie cam. Well, so first off here, that point is so important, man. Being able to assert pressure is just like the core of my existence as of my gameplay, I guess I would say. And throwing off pressure is so let me start with this. Yes, WoW has been talked to as very scripted. Okay, you do this, you trade this cooldown here, you pop everything. Things have kind of gotten a little less scripty with solo shuffle, but for the worse, like not in a good way, because everyone just pops everything immediately. But this more so applies, I guess it does apply to those situations as well, but being able to flip the script and kind of in a way make your own script out of it. So, you know, typically maybe the warrior might charge in there, press his offensive cooldowns, blah blah blah, and do his damage on the DPS the whole time. Maybe he charges to the healer, fears him, and then comes back. But in a way you can kind of break that script yourself is by doing things more aggressively, whether that means this goes for DPS or healer. I'm just giving you healer examples because that's what I do. And me as an aggressive wrestler druid, I'm running in at their healer, splitting in between them, trying to do maybe do damage, or most oftenly trying to get CC going, pushing into their healer, getting stuns, and that throws him off the script because now he has to pull back. He swaps over to me, and when you throw people off the script, they kind of might get lost a little bit. And if it is something that you are proficient at yourself, so I play off the script all the time. I crumple up that paper and I throw it away every single game. I don't know what the heck I'm doing. I just go with the flow. But doing that so often, you do kind of see how people react to your script, because nobody else plays. I'm just giving you this as a personal experience here. Nobody else plays like I do as a wrestler druid, whether that's good or bad. But I am probably the only one who knows how people typically respond to this, because it's something that nobody else does, so they don't even know how to respond to it. How do they play against a druid that's just running in? Oh, my instinct says to just run at them and run them down. I had a solo shuffle the other day where I was doing that. I was on top of the enemy team the entire time while I had 2 casters in the back on my team. Everybody turned their headlights on me and just ran and zugged me down. And what ended up happening? I am used to playing this way, so I was able to trade cooldowns efficiently, kite efficiently, and open up opportunities for my teammates, the 2 casters, to get free CC off on the enemy healer and take down one of the other guys on the other team. And that was because I completely flipped that script. I threw out their script, threw it on the shredder, and now you're playing my game. I can take control of that game, and you can do this on a lot of different classes, and that is the really strong point of applying pressure, and just learning how to apply pressure with the class that you play. This, just to note, all this stuff does take some practice, and does take a lot of practice and a lot of reps.
It's not unique to WoW. It's something you can experience in every game. To master pressure, you need to make your opponent uncomfortable.
Exactly, that's exactly what I do.
This is something that most players misunderstand. It's not just about doing big damage, but dictating
it's not
where
about
that
the
damage goes and trying to stay ahead of momentum no matter what. In order to create true pressure, you need to be both aggressive and unpredictable, being willing to play slightly off script in order to disorient your opponents. It's a mental game meant to force otherwise perfect players into making mistakes. Peekaboo plays the ideal comp.
Exactly what I just said. In ways that when you play that, like when I play so aggressively, especially in like a solo shuffle, these players don't know what the heck to do. Like their brain just says, I need to do this now. Oh, what? And then I kind of throw them off their game. Yeah, sometimes it bites me in the butt, but a lot of times it doesn't. And I end up throwing them off, and then my team can take advantage of that. As long as my team, does pounce on that opportunity, that it does actually work out pretty well.
Rogue, Shadow Priest. Together with WizK and Absturge, the move plays with pressure as their #1 priority. Few teams have been able to replicate their success since it requires a willingness to play slightly unconventional. Of course, no conversation about Peekaboo is complete without talking about Waz. These two players are, without a doubt, the best rogues currently playing WoW PvP, but with a completely opposite approach to the game. They both represent their warring meta between their two regions. The metagame on Europe has always been structured and organized, while across the pond, North America plays an unbound freedom. Neither one of these playstyles is better, they're just different. One reason why Echo has had enormous success.
Listen to that point, freaking talking to people that I play. You don't sit behind the pillar and heal. That's the only way we could win. Shut up.
Success is because Waz understands that in a structured meta, the winning strategy is to play perfect. It's no accident that Echo
definitely can play like this,
which is the best comp at creating win.
I will say this though, it's a actually, you know what? I'm not gonna say it yet.
In order to consistently win as a rookie, you need to plan your victory minutes in advance.
Yeah.
Waz is a master at carving a path to victory through repetition, strategically planning target swaps in order to gradually chip away at defensive cooldowns until nothing is left. It is a very European approach to the game, being very organized with perfect execution. We can see hints of this mentality by simply looking at his UI, which places enormous value on tracking the enemy team's defensives. There's always going to be the perfect target to attack and the perfect strategy to execute. Waz and Peekaboo might have two different approaches to the game, and despite both players coming from a rogue background, they are able to adopt their unique playstyles to every class they play. The reason they're able to make those fancy plays is because they have a fundamental understanding of damage. Once your rotation becomes second nature,
I'm gonna stop you for a second. This is so important. It's so important. People ask all the time about them being new and things that they can do to work on their gameplay. This is so important. There's like stages of things you need to learn to progress as a player, especially if you're newer, but doesn't matter. You need to get your rotation down. It needs to be routine. You should need to not have to look at your bars ever. Maybe you're just like glancing quick at a cooldown or something like that, but just being able to get this down so routine that it is just second nature and you can open your eyes and see everything else that's going on. Okay, this happens to everybody when they play a new class. It happens to me when I play a new class where I'm so focused on looking at my bars down, I do not see the guy trinket in the corner. I don't see the guy casting repentance on me, or stuff like that. You really need to get your damage or your healing down. This goes for healers and DPS. One piece of advice I will give you, obviously you have target dummies you can practice this on, but for healers, I'm gonna give you my example because just applies to me. But playing aggressive as a healer or doing damage as a healer, the best thing to do is to queue Mythic Plus, okay? Sounds counterintuitive, but you queue you don't have to go crazy. Queue the lower keys and get comfortable weaving damage and healing. Doing damage in here, popping back out, do some healing. Go and do more damage, do some healing. Trade the cooldown here, keep playing offensive, and then fall back, use a big cooldown to recover them. Just get comfortable with those things. And same thing for DPS, man. I mean, there's no better way to practice your rotation than to just do it over and over and over again. So Mythic Plus is a way to do it in a way that is a lot more forgiving, because there really isn't many repercussions to not doing enough damage. When you're in solo shuffle, you're not doing enough damage, you lose, and you get frustrated, you quit the game. When you're not doing enough damage in a Mythic Plus, it is what it is. You keep going. Maybe you don't time the key, but who cares? It's not as demoralizing, I should say, and it gives you more time to practice, and you have a scalable number to go by. With a DPS meter, right? You can see how you're doing and see how you're improving. And as a healer, you're able, as your damage meter goes up, while being able to maintain your team, that will actually help you out in that regard. So really get your rotation down so you can start playing up.
Those feelings of tunnel vision start to go away, and now your focus can be directed to crowd control or landing important interrupts. Once damage isn't taking up all of your mental load, your ability to make quick decisions will improve dramatically. If you want to start experience this for yourself, check
something
out our
that's
brand new
so hard for me,
where you
trying to
learn
play
PvP fundamentals.
So I'm very used to playing aggressive as druid and twos, but threes in solo shuffle, or more so solo shuffle, it is a different beast. I am trying to pay attention to so many different things at once. It is so difficult, but I do love the challenge.
Directly from rank 1 players and easy to follow videos. We even have over 200 arena commentaries where you can learn winning strategies from rank 1 players. Everything we offer is backed up by Rank Up Gain Guarantee, where we
see the
promise
videos
you
for
will
them
see real
for Rest of
winning
Druid.
games while using our service or your money back.
I should hit them
Click
up
the link
again.
below to get started.
They got
with
some
an
good videos
exclusive
though,
discount.
if you do are interested
Anyway,
in stuff
while
like
we
that.
often get fixated on the skill of the player we're watching, it's too easy to ignore what's happening in the background and how great players are often supported by great teammates. When we were watching Waz and Raikou strike the final blows to win BlizzCon 2019, we all completely
If you keep very much listen to this for if you are a solo shuffle player, because this is something that don't do, and the people that do it are very a lot more successful, because everybody can do damage, everybody can look up their rotation, everybody can practice on a demi, but not everybody can do that damage while paying attention to what else is going on. That goes for maybe eating a trap as a DPS for your healer, seeing that there's a greater pyroblast being cast over here, and you charge over here and stop it, or somebody pushing in for CC on your healer and you intercepting them and doing something about it. Doing other things outside of just your rotation are so crucial, and I wish it was more common as a healer, man. I wish.
The life cocoon that could have saved Blizzo's life. There have been many different types of healers over the years,
God damn, that's
but there's
annoying.
something special about those who truly play for their team. There's a tendency for some healers to emphasize convenience, playing only for themselves. But if there's one healer that truly plays for his team, it has to be Meh. A crucial piece of the machine
The
that
UI
has
is too
allowed
much
Echoes
for
to
me, man.
dominate Europe for years.
Meh plays with the mindset of a DPS, and no, this doesn't just mean doing damage. Sometimes it's as simple as being in the right position to assist with CC.
Sometimes it's a quick dispel, tanking a kill.
That's another note, like we are talking about knowing your team and seeing what being aware of things going on. For little things like when I push in for a stun onto the healer, the hunter or the mage identifying that is happening and capitalizing with a trap or sheep on top of it. Little things about like little follow-up CCs. And as a healer, knowing that, oh, this guy did just stun him. Maybe this is an opportunity for me to run into to get a fear for free, or get a repentance, or get a hex, or whatever it is.
Or trading a cooldown to keep his team offensive.
Playing with your team.
The best healers of all time truly understand the value of
does take a lot of practice, and
I understands that his
being able
role
to
is
look up
not
and
to
open the
win
blinders,
alone, but instead enable his team
like
to
we
win
talked
the
about
game
on that
together.
previous point.
This mentality isn't just healer specific, and these days it's a more important thing than ever to adopt a team-focused mindset. The problem that many players have is that they view solo shuffle as a solo game. But as we become more and more disconnected from the social aspects of WoW, one thing we can all do better is recognize that we cannot win.
This music's a vibe.
Going back to the battle between Europe and North America, there has been one single player who has managed to topple both regions. That player is Chanimal, who can teach us the importance of playing around game states. Let's go back to the idea that every arena game is predictable. It has its peaks and valleys, which represent game states. Sometimes you're in the driver's seat and it's your turn to be aggressive, to snowball pressure, forcing your opponents on the back foot. Other times it is you who finds himself off balance. You are the one who is now under pressure and need to...
So they're off balance, balanced druid. But being able to kite, and this is a skill as a caster that is really important if you don't already have it, but being able to dictate the positioning of the entire game by how you move.
What
like
Chanimal does
like if him pulling back here pulls the warrior into a leap, this healer is still stuck in CC. He just popped his big archangel, he's ready to heal him, he's got rapture shields up, but the warrior runs out of loss of LOS. He's gonna end up dying because of it. So this is a way to throw off the script as a caster. Okay, there's different ways to throw off script, but positioning is definitely one of them.
He does with perfect positioning. Warlocks have the highest death rate in solo shuffle, and for most players, they are an easy kill target. But when you watch Chanimal, you would think that Warlocks are immortal. He toys around with melee like a cat playing with a mouse, knowing that even if he...
Just another quick point of being aware of everything going on, right? So being able to force a... like right there, he gated away. He charges in, and then having an answer immediately. He has a
he's getting attacked. That
an infernal,
actually
and he has a coil, and he's ready to kind of counter that
switches,
CC.
Chanimal knows that it's his time to snowball momentum by positioning himself in a way to
also taking advantage, like you said, take advantage of those moments of that where you
by
can
being in the
push
right
in.
place at the right time.
And it doesn't matter what you're playing, healer, DPS.
That's why we teamed up with Chanimal to produce our brand new caster course at skillcap.com, where you can learn exactly how to abuse positioning to win you games, along with other high-level tips. Before we reveal our fifth and final player, we need to take a trip back in time to 2015. when the unstoppable force of skill-capped EU would face off against their opponent.
Dude, they gotta bring back lands.
Who was an immovable object, playing a
I went to the
centered
previous
around one
last
thing,
BlizzCon. It was
efficiency.
so
The matchup was
anticlimactic,
RMD
man.
versus Turbo Cleave.
These were so
the number one
hyped.
offense in the game, going head-to-head with the number one defense, where every single action was met by a reaction. Every single go being blocked by one cooldown trade at a time. SK Gaming's efficiency would lead them to become world champions, with Swapz being a key part of this team's victory, and through him, we can learn what it means to play efficiently. Swapz is widely regarded as one of the most defensive players in all of Europe. In a region known for its defensive play, he manages to stand out. To play efficiently means treating the game like a budget, trading defensive cooldowns 1-to-1 so there is never any waste. In other games, we might call this playing for value or playing optimally. Efficiency turns the game into a mathematical equation. We can see glimpses of this with Team Liquid and specifically Sea-Doo, who likes to make 1-to-1 efficient trades as a healer. It's no surprise that the most
I'll say, so to add on this, making 1-to-1 trades is super important, and people don't do it. Again, this is more, I feel like I'm all just ripping on Solo Shuffle here, but being able to see that enemies are popping cooldowns. This guy popped his combustion, and being able to trade a cooldown preemptively to prevent the damage to help your healer. This is for all the healers out there, man. We need you DPS to press defensives before the damage comes in, not when you're about to die. But also on kind of on an opposite note with that, and if you're able to identify a cooldown happened, you might not need to just automatically trade. Like maybe you're in the habit of combustion, wall immediately. If you are in the, you're able to clone or stop the guy via positioning or CC them and stop that damage from coming in. That is your reaction and that is your trade, so that you do have your major cooldowns to still available to trade for you. So 1-to-1 trading is very often good, but it was not so much anymore, because sometimes people just pop everything at you and you need to just answer. But yeah, Shadowlands, it was way more important
to make a split-second trade while
this
keeping
burst,
some
man.
gas left in the tank for
Burst
later.
was crazy in
Anyways,
Shadowlands.
Peekaboo and Swapz are on opposite sides of the spectrum. One is a shield and the other a sword. But what we've learned today is that there are many ways to play PvP. The true beauty of Arena is that you can express something about yourself through your playstyle.
Exactly.
Mastering your class is just one part of the equation. We here at Skillcapped have worked alongside.
I think that's it. That's all they talked about, right? Yeah. So I think that video was so good, man. So many good points made that are overlooked by most players. So I hope you all got something out of this, because this video, I feel like it didn't get got a lot of slack for it. Like, oh, I guess they play all the time. Yeah, I mean, obviously, but it's stuff that you can work for. It's like having the mentality of that is just so negative and so anti-productive, man. Like, just if you lose, figure out why you lost and just try to do better, man. Maybe in Shuffle, you're just keep using Shuffle as examples, but your teammates don't use their cooldowns and you die. Maybe preemptively assume that they're going to not use their cooldowns and try to trade something before that even happens. Instead of holding that trinket because you know that they should just pop a defensive and not die, maybe you just got to use it. So there's just like things out there, man. It just, your mindset matters a lot, and I think that's a really big reason why people quit the games and quit any game, right, or quit anything. Is you gotta have a more positive mindset of it, and a mindset of when you're losing or failing at something, it's just an opportunity for growth. And don't be so hard on yourself, man. It's just a video game. So that's it for today, y'all. Let me know if what y'all think about this down below, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace out.